I don't trust you in the car with a pretty girl, with a pretty girl, like in a circumstance where biology's biology.
I trust you to not put yourself in that situation. I don't trust you to be in a bad situation and make a good decision. I don't trust you to go to a strip club with a bunch of your buddies and like not be turned on by that.
100%.
I trust you to not go to the strip club to begin with.
100%.
But I think
environment, man. Environment.
I hear women that like, oh yeah, my husband goes to the strip club, but I trust him. I'm like, I'm sorry, you're a fool. Because he's a man. Like that's
an
insane.
Interesting one.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, first of all, if you're Christian,
you shouldn't be at a strip club.
At a strip club. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that being said, again, I feel like I was going to say something.
Baby, get it together over there.
But what I was going to say is, a lot of this is just being intentional in your marriage. Because here's the classic quote, right? It takes a lifetime to build your reputation. It takes a moment to break it.
And welcome back to another episode of the Married with Mugicas podcast. We are so excited that you're here. We are Richard and Hayley Mugica. We have been married for, can I say 13 years yet?
Nope.
12 years and 51 weeks. Our 13-year anniversary is coming up here in a couple days. And we have 4 small kids. We homeschool. We run a home-based business. We are very beginner homesteaders and all of the other fun home things.
All the fun stuff, baby girl.
How are you?
I am doing really good. We just got back from our anniversary, our 13-year anniversary, even though it hasn't been 13 years quite yet.
Yes.
And it was just a great time.
Oh my gosh.
We picked the right spot. We had the right location. Everything was just wonderful.
Yeah. We went to this place. It's in like North San Diego County, called Rancho Valencia. Mm-hmm. And it was the most perfect resort. It's like about an hour away from us. So it's far enough away that you feel like you're gone, but close enough that you could get home in an emergency. So it's not super scary.
Yep.
And it was just beautiful. They had this like little culinary garden and chicken coop that you could walk around. And it was just the most.
It was great.
Perfect couple days.
Yeah. Walking distance everywhere.
The food was amazing.
The food was amazing. Yeah, it was just a good spot.
Yeah. If you ever need a little, like if you're doing a girls trip or you want to get away with your husband or wife for a couple days. Rancho Valencia. Highly, highly recommend.
And no, we're not sponsored by Rancho Valencia.
But hey, they hear this. So today's episode, in honor of our anniversary, we're doing 13 things that we've learned from 13 years of marriage.
I like it.
Yeah. So it should be a fun one.
Simple, easy, peasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've asked ourselves this a lot, but 13 years, do you feel like that's like gone fast or slow? What would you say?
Well, we just talked about this. It's like a combination of both.
Somehow
is a good answer for it. Like we had kids back to back. We did the business thing. We've moved 4 times. So a lot of it's kind of a whirlwind. I mean, as I look back, you're just like, whoa, that went really fast. But then at the same time, we've been through a lot. So then you feel like that kind of, I don't know, you get what's the word I'm looking for? You get the yin and yang. Is that what I'm looking for?
Sure.
I don't know, the yin and yang. But yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun. Yeah.
It feels like
and I don't know if probably everybody can relate, but like if you look back, we got married where we're at now, it's like, dude, you would have never guessed, right? Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, this is what we'd be doing in, our 13 years to get, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely
it's somehow
wild.
like a blink. And then also like, I feel like I've been married to you forever and I can't imagine not being married to you. Somehow both are true.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So when you, like just starting marriage, year 1, what did like younger you think marriage was going to look like?
So I thought you have a companion in life, you get married, you have a companion, you have some kids, you might have a couple dogs, you have the home, and that's marriage, right? And then you have your 9 to 5, you make some money, you try to get by, you try to, wake up the next day and you try to just live your life with somebody and share values and keep going. That's what I pictured marriage as. But obviously, and you asked me this last night, but I've come to realize that marriage is a lot more than just that. And it's a journey, and it, in a lot of ways, has shaped me more than I could ever have imagined, or I could have ever thought about. And so I don't know if you're going to get into that, or if you want me to like roll into that, but it's that's what I thought marriage was going to be in the beginning. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it a billion times, but I always, like, from the time I was a little girl, I always just wanted to be a wife and I wanted to be a mom. Like, that was
a holy grail.
That was it.
Yeah.
But my expectations for marriage is I really expected to be happily married. But I just expected, if this sounds funny, but I have a sister, right? And my sister's always been the go-getter, and she's always been like really driven. And I always, as a little girl, thought to myself, my sister is going to be the rich, successful one, and I'm going to be the happy, married to a pastor, like totally. And I was totally fine with that. Like, I did not have any like aspirations for wealth or whatever. Like, that was just not my game plan. But
yeah, for sure.
But I'm happy to say that we are very happily married. I didn't marry a pastor. That was different, but we're very happy, and things look way different than I thought, but in some ways they're very similar. So that's good.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So the kind of vibe of this episode is, like I said, it's 13 things we've learned from 13 years of marriage. So all things that we've kind of touched on throughout different episodes. So we're going to kind of consolidate and touch on them quickly in this one episode.
Value packed.
Yeah, I think so. So just the first one is marriage is less about finding the right person and more about becoming the right person.
Ooh, that's a big one.
And you know what's funny about this one is I think you and I would both agree with it. But I think we would also somewhat disagree in the sense that I do believe in soulmates.
You still believe in soulmates? You're still on that track.
I'm a little bit of a hopeless romantic in that.
I don't know.
And Richard does not. And but the reason why I do, and I will stand by this probably till I die, is that I feel like there's just was so much in like our life from small children that shaped us to be the right person for who we're with, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about at dinner last night. My family's greatest weakness, which was, in my opinion, that like we don't really talk all that much and we're not very wordy people, is your family's probably biggest strength.
Yeah.
And then your family's biggest weakness is that, you know, your parents maybe prioritize kids over their marriage and stuff. It was probably my family's biggest strength.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, we took our weaknesses and we really brought them together and found someone who really like solved that problem for us.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's a good point. Yep.
But there's so many things about our life that I look at. I'm like, man, God had to have ordained that and had a plan for that and was really shaping us for each other because there's no other explanation in my mind. I know you don't agree, but.
Well, yeah. Not only that, one of the most trippy stories that I don't know if we've ever talked about on this podcast is my sister used to babysit you as a kid.
Yes.
Way back in the day. And so when we started dating, I brought Hayley around and they're like, wait a minute.
It wasn't even that.
I don't even know how it came about, but that is a trippy story.
It is a crazy story.
That's a trippy one.
So Richard's
especially too, because, and let me add this, I didn't go to high school. We didn't go to high school together. I got transferred over to your high school because I was doing bad at my high school.
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother thing too. So, I mean, there's a lot of trippy things in that story.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to like consolidate the story as much as I can. But Richard's oldest sister is 10 years older than him.
10 years older.
And she went to the high school that my mom graduated from. And so my mom worked for my dad, I mean, just a couple hours a day. And it was summer. So me and my siblings were home. And so she went to her alma mater and said, hey, do you guys have a recommendation of someone who could babysit my kids a couple hours a day while I work for my husband? And they said, we have this girl. Her name's Marcy Mugicas. She's great. So she ended up babysitting us. And I loved Marcy. I would set my alarm to like wake up when she was there. And I just loved her.
That is nuts.
But it was only for, I don't know, maybe a month or so before my mom was like, no, I'm going to stay home with the kids and whatever.
Wow.
But
that is true.
I remember that. And then, so you transferred to our school junior year. And the way like CIF rules work or whatever, like you couldn't play any sports the first year because you transferred, whatever. So you had to wait till senior year to play any sports. So senior year, you tried out for football and I was a cheerleader. And so we would be at like football games and stuff.
Yeah.
And I had met your family because we were dating already. but there was no recollection there because I went from being a 5-year-old little girl to now I'm 16, and you change a lot.
Oh, 100%.
But then at a football game, our families met for the first time, and my mom saw your sister, and they recognized each other. And that's when we put it all together that, like, wow, oh my gosh, this is the Marcy that babysat me.
That was trippy.
That's crazy. And so, like, I don't even think I realized at the time she even had a younger brother that was my age. It was like, I was.
No, it was too probably short of a period. Or,
too short.
Or
and, you're a kid. You're wrapped up in yourself. I didn't care.
And I never came over. We didn't, we didn't do that. So
that was kind of a wild.
Yeah, so there are some stars aligning moments and maybe some soulmate, stuff in there. However,
well, and just the fact that you were transferred to this school, had your parents not done that, our paths never would have crossed. But
I know
it all worked.
Wasn't such
and
a
I
bad
think we're
kid,
soulmates.
bad in school.
You were not a bad kid.
I wasn't a bad kid. I was just bad in school.
Bad at school. That's true.
How can you blame me?
But okay, so marriage is less about finding the right person, more about becoming the right person. But I do think we agree with that point in that. I think that's a constant pursuit. It's a daily pursuit of, like, how do I be the right person for my spouse? Not how is he the right person for me? So we did an episode about, like, if you were a gift to your spouse, would they keep you or would they return you?
Yeah.
Was kind of like the premise of that episode. And I think that kind of fits with this point of, like, instead of thinking, is he the right person for me? Think, am I the right person for him? And what do I have to do to develop that constantly?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I think most of your life, you're looking at a mirror. And people like to blame the mirror. It's like, dude, move the mirror, get the mirror out of the way. Like, I'm not interested in the mirror.
Or if you don't like,
no, that is life.
If you don't like the reflection in the mirror, you need to change what's being reflected.
That's right. Yes.
The reflection's not going to change if you don't change.
In all facets of life.
Yeah.
Like, and I love the saying, it's old school, whatever, but it's like you attract what you are and you get what you are. Mm-hmm. And, and you might want to fight it. And that's fine, but that's a law of life.
Yeah.
And so I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Point number 2. I love this one is communication solves more problems than chemistry.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Chemistry. What is chemistry?
Well, okay. And chemistry is so important, right?
I don't know. Maybe.
I think it's really, I don't think it's good to underemphasize the importance.
It's all about the pheromones, guys. You got to have the right.
I think pheromones are real, and I think, like, physical attraction is good. I don't think we should underemphasize that. I mean,
some people prioritize it more than others. We really prioritize it, but yes.
What do you mean by that?
We're both into looks. Like, like you're into looks.
I'm into you.
Yeah, but look wise.
I find you very attractive.
You find me, and it's there's some things that you wouldn't find acceptable. You know what I mean? And it's just the way, I don't know. It is what it is.
There's expectations.
There's expectations. Yeah, there's expectations and I think that varies couple to couple. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, some people are fine with whatever. It's just maybe I don't know if you want to call them standards, but maybe a level of expectation is the best way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. And those things are good, but they don't make up for bad communication.
100%.
So that's kind of the point of that entire point is that communication, it doesn't matter how good your sex life is, it doesn't matter how attracted you are to your spouse, you're going to have to communicate, and that's more important.
I mean, there's probably just another law of life, like your ability to communicate will impact more in your life than probably just about anything else.
Yes.
And if you look at most arguments in marriage, it's just a breakdown of communication, right? Somebody's like yelling at somebody, emotions get tense, you say stuff that you regret, and all of a sudden you feel like you're communicating, but you're not. Like, it's amazing how many times people will talk back and forth at each other and there's actually no communication.
Yeah.
Like that. No. What you just did, that was not communication. That was emotional yelling. That was disagreement. That was arguing. That was not transferring ideas back and forth.
So I think there's definitely an art to, like, articulating yourself.
Yeah.
But it's probably more important that you're able to receive communication and actually hear somebody and actually take in their idea and actually approach with curiosity and say, okay, how'd you get to that? Tell me more about that. Like, instead of just trying to get your point across, which is a lot less effective.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And look, it's not like you're born. Most people are not born with communication skills.
Oh, everyone has to develop it.
You have to develop it, right? And then it's like, well, how do you develop it? Well, it's like how you develop anything. You read about it, you learn about it, you learn about, that's what communication means. Like, books is a great place to start. Like I've read a ton of books on communication. Like, being in business, you realize all of business is communication. And the better that you can communicate an idea, a thought, a sentence, the better that business does. Yeah. And it's no different in marriage. Like, the better I can communicate a vision, a goal, a disagreement, whatever it might be, it's like, dude.
Well, and I think maybe one of the keys to good communication is like maintaining humility and realizing that I might not be right.
Yeah.
I may not have the answer, and really trying to come to your spouse to come to a conclusion together and not your way. I think the your way or the highway people really are going to have a rough go of it.
100%.
And
most of the people that you and I like the most, the reason why we like them is because they're good communicators. Yeah. Like, if you look at people you watch on Instagram or the comedians that people love, it's because they're communicating in a way that's resonating with you. And that's what draws people to each other, So, yeah.
Yeah. Good communication.
Can't beat it.
Okay. Number 3, you cannot keep score in marriage.
Oh, yeah. Sacrifice, seasons, teamwork. You did more. I did more. I deserve more. You deserve more. I did the dishes. You did my laundry.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, I mean, we've talked about this a lot before, but like, I think if you can, in your marriage, you almost make it a contest of service of like, I'm going to try to outserve you.
Yeah.
And you're going to try to outserve me. And then it's a constant, you're keeping track of yourself, of how much you're doing for your spouse, but you're not keeping track of how much they're doing for you.
Yeah.
That changes the whole perspective. And I think makes things a lot better.
So, okay, would you agree with this? Because I know so how do I articulate this? Do you agree? Like, how do you look at...
You're saying words without any thought.
This is not communication, ladies and gentlemen. How do I articulate this? That in a relationship, we all stay for what we can get out of it. So maybe I should just move on because I don't know how to articulate it.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah. There's this guy I follow, and he says, like, everybody has their selfish reasons for staying in a relationship. And he said that, a large majority of it is like, if the other person has nothing of value to offer, it's like most people won't stay because there's no value there. And so how do you look at that in marriage? I don't know if I articulated it the right way, but if one person provides all the value and the other person does not, how do you look at that?
Okay. I have some initial thoughts.
Yeah.
So the initial way that hits me is like, that's a really kind of ugly, negative way to look at relationships. It doesn't sit well with me. Yeah,
that's how I've always looked at it. But he truly believes like, hey, if this person does not serve me in my life in some way, I'm not going to keep them around.
That's so arrogant. Because everybody can offer you something.
Yeah, 100%.
Every single human is offering you something. So I think you need to like readjust what you're expecting or what, I don't know. But I don't think that there's anybody that doesn't offer value in some way.
Yeah, for sure.
To me, that sounds like a very like Andrew Tate way to look at things. And I'm not an Andrew Tate fan. I don't like his philosophy on relationships. And to me, that reminds me of him. I don't know who said that, but
yeah. Well, look, because on the keeping score side, so what would you say in terms of that? Because I would imagine that most people would be like, well, yeah, I get it, but I offer all the value. Like I'm doing all the stuff.
We've done entire episodes on what you focus on grows, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're sitting there thinking, man, I always do the laundry and he never does the laundry, and he never like. Yes, you can make yourself crazy, but you can also say, well, you know what? I haven't had to pay an electric bill in 13 years because he always takes care of that. And so you can just change what you're choosing to focus on.
Yeah, where your focus goes.
They're doing something. And so choose to focus on that. And then you'll find that when you focus on the good, you have more good feelings towards the person, which just is good for both of you.
Yeah, buddy.
But I find it very hard to imagine that there's anybody that doesn't offer value somewhere. I can't imagine that.
Yeah. Well, to your point, it's that you might just not be focusing on the value.
I think you're focused
on all the wrong stuff, just not that.
And we're all so quick to recognize what we do and how we're slighted and how we're serving and how we're doing things. But we don't look at how other people are doing the same.
Yeah.
You know,
there's 25 human cognitive biases, and like all of them are at play all the time. Mm-hmm. And if actually anybody they should look them up. The 25 human cognitive biases, like we're all playing them at all times. And a lot of it's just to protect ourselves. Mm-hmm. Like we're always trying to protect us. And we think we're better than we are. We see ourselves better than we usually are.
What is that premise? We judge ourselves by our intent and others by their results.
Yeah, we judge ourselves by our intent and others by their actions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. It's like we do something wrong. It's like, no, but you don't understand. I did it. I did it because of this.
Yeah.
And then somebody else does it. You're like, that was horrible. You're like, yeah, but if you use the same playbook that you used on yourself, you'd be like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, there's somebody said this one time. He's like, if you lived in that person's shoes,
you would have done the same thing.
You would understand why they made the decision that they made. Mm-hmm. So if you look at it from that perspective, if you don't understand why somebody made the decision they made, you might want to take a step back, and because I don't live in that person's shoes. Mm-hmm. But if I did, I probably would have made the same decision as them. So then you figure out, all of life is just understanding, why did you do that?
Yeah.
You have to ask questions.
Yeah.
Communication.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one. Your spouse will change. And if you think about
change
it, like,
is the only constant.
Yeah. But that makes it so fun, right?
Yeah.
Like, I still feel like I get to learn about you every day. I get to, like, you do things that surprise me, or you have thoughts. It's like, just before we started this podcast, we were talking about, like, what were you into when you were from like 8 to 12 years old that like really developed you for what you're doing now? Like, how did what you loved from 8 to 12 point to where you are now? And you were saying that like from 8 to 12, you loved computers. And like, that is such a foreign thought to me, because you could, if you sat me down in front of a computer and said, play with this, that would be like me looking at a dry sponge. Like, there's nothing to do with this.
And guess what? It shows.
And I don't like it.
Babes, why is the TV remote not working?
But
my phone's not working. What happened to my phone? And I'll like press a button. And I'm like, there you go. You're like, oh, wow, how did you do that?
No,
like,
but there are times where literally I'm doing all of the right things, and then you touch it and it works, and it's the most annoying thing.
Yeah. I'm sure that's how it went down.
There are times that happens. But like, it's just fascinating to me. Like and I remember when we were engaged, we were going through premarital counseling, and that we were doing the 5 love languages. And I remember saying, well, of course his is quality time. Like, everybody's is quality time.
Yeah, like who would not want quality time?
And then I realized it was words of affirmation, and that was like mind-boggling to me.
Mind blown.
Like, I'm like, whoa, people act like quality time's not everybody.
People like that stuff?
But they're like, there's things like that all the time. And I mean, we've gone through entire episodes of how much you've changed over the years and how much you've grown and developed. And there's just this new iteration of you that I get to know all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were the same as you were the day we got married, like, that would be so boring.
Yeah. Well, the only constant is change. There's no doubt about it. I think the key in marriage, though, is like, you're going to change. I know you're going to change. I know in 10 years from now, you're not going to be. However, it's like, are you going to change apart? Or are you going to change like in the same direction?
Yeah.
And I think that's the guardrails you have to watch in marriage, because it's very easy to start drifting apart in your change.
Yeah. And I think you can start to resent your spouse for changing. It's like, no, we always used to do it like this. You always used to think this. And it's like, well, no, you have to like roll with that and approach it with curiosity and grow with that. We were talking to somebody, and you were asking them, like, do you think you know everything there is to know about your wife? And they said yes. And I was like, you're in rough water. Like, you better reevaluate that, because
it's a sad answer.
It's a sad answer.
It's sad. It's like, I know everything.
And if I was the wife and my husband said that about me, that would actually kind of hurt my feelings, because I'm like, now you're not even curious about me anymore. You're just writing me off. You think you already know, and you don't. You don't know anything about everything about anybody.
Oh yeah. No doubt about it. I was going to say something, but man, I don't know if my brain is maybe coming back from the anniversary.
Your brain's still in vacation mode.
I'm still in vacation mode. I was going to say something about that, but yes, let's just go with that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. The next one is fun matters more than people think.
Oh, well, yeah, fun. No doubt about it.
I think it is so important, especially because, in marriage, you're doing life together, right? And you've got bills, and you've got kids, and you've got sports practice.
So heavy.
It can be heavy, and it can be so mundane, and it can be so tactical and so, what's that word for like logistical?
Yeah, you get into the logistics of life. Yeah, 100%.
And you have to remember that, like,
bills,
I actually enjoy this person. Like, and I think that's one reason why date night is so important.
Oh, man. No doubt about it.
But fun is really, really important.
Super important. In fact, in the app that, Hayley and I created, sparkchecking.com, a lot of people have told us, they're like, the one question that I'm glad that you put in there is how much
fun are you having?
How much fun are you having with your spouse? Because that's the one, like, out of everything, we'll get the back burner probably the fastest, because you know how it is, like you said. And so I think ways that we incorporate fun into, like, well, first off, we have some funny freaking kids.
We do have funny kids.
Yeah.
That helps.
Yeah, that helps lighten the mood. And we have, 4 kids. So the more you have, the more odds you have somebody that's going to be a little bit more funny. But and then I'm more of a goofball, I guess you could say. You keep it pretty light. I think if there's one takeaway, it's like, dude, just keep life a little lighter. Like,
don't take things so serious.
It's not so serious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, somebody cuts you off or calls you an a-hole or says, dude, your kids are dumb, or, what? It's like, sometimes you don't need to, like,
doesn't matter.
Yeah. Just laugh and say, cool, I got you. I love that for you. You know what? My mom said a phrase the other day. Maybe my sister. My sister said it. She said the phrase. She's like, you know what? I love that for you. And I think that's going to be my new phrase. Somebody says something stupid, I'm like, dude, I love that for you. I thought that was a great line. I was like, dude, I love that. Because I think that's one if there's a value that we have, one of those might be that. Just keep life light. Because you know what? Everything else will make it heavy enough for you. You don't have to add heaviness to it.
Yeah. And I think you have to make a conscious decision of, like, okay, what are the serious things? What are we going to take
There's
really,
not
really
that
seriously?
many, by the way.
There's
really not that many in life.
But if you can define them and then say, okay, and then everything else is not all that important. But if you let the world tell you what's serious, it's going to tell you that it's everything. Everything. And you're going to make yourself nuts.
Yep. And then you got no priorities. You don't know where you're going. You're running like a chicken with your head cut off.
Exactly.
I hate that phrase.
You hate that phrase?
Yeah. People that say it, like, oh man, I'm just like a chicken with my head cut off. I feel like I'm just
idea.
That idea, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this is one of my favorites. Protect your marriage before you have to repair it.
Oh, that's so much easier.
So much easier.
It's so much easier.
So much easier.
Yes. Yeah. Repair is hard. Not getting to a place where you need to repair is probably the better way to go.
And repair can be done, and I've seen it.
Yeah.
But I think it's so hard to, like, it's always going to kind of be there. This hurt, even though you can move on, now you know your spouse is capable of that, and it's just, oof. Mm-hmm, you know what I mean? So I think, like,
so what's a practical way you can do that?
Oh my gosh, we have a lot of ways. So we did a whole episode about boundaries, which I think is maybe one of the most important episodes we've ever done.
Yeah, it's true.
But just like a quick overview of some of our boundaries that we just have for our own marriage is, like, we have an open cell phone policy. We each have each other's login
passwords and this and that.
And like,
you grab my phone.
If I say, hey, Rich, can I see your phone? He hands it to me. And it's not because I'm snooping. It could just be, hey, I'm going to send myself that picture you took earlier. But there's never any, like, oh, why do you need it? Like, it's just very free. And you can grab my phone whenever. So I think that's a really important one. We don't have, like, individual friendships with the opposite sex. It's like, okay, we might have couple friends or whatever, but I would never text my friend's husband on, like, an individual text thread. Like, maybe we'll do a group thread, but I'm not going to text them personally, or vice versa. You know, like, we're very.
Yep. And I think we actually have one on here on boundaries that comes up a little bit.
No,
later.
I think it's this one.
Oh, is it this one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's discuss boundaries, phone, social media.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, this is the one. Yeah. This is the one. Okay, yeah.
You know, like, we just, you don't ride in the car with someone of the opposite sex. You don't go have a meal with somebody of the opposite sex that you're not directly related to.
Yeah. But I trust my spouse.
That's just the craziest thing.
I'll never forget when I said that. Because you were very big on that. I was like, well, you don't trust me? She's like, well, no, I don't. I don't trust you in the car with a pretty girl, like, in a circumstance where biology's biology.
I trust you to not put yourself in that situation. I don't trust you to be in a bad situation and make a good decision. I don't trust you to go to a strip club with a bunch of your buddies and, like, not be turned on by that.
100%.
I trust you to not go to the strip club to begin with.
100%.
But I think
environment, man.
I hear women that, like, oh yeah, my husband goes to the strip club, but I trust him. I'm like, I'm sorry, you're a fool. Because he's a man. Like, that's
an
insane.
interesting one.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Well, first of all, If you're Christian,
you shouldn't be at a strip club. Yeah.
At a strip club. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that being said, again, I feel like I was going to say something.
Babe, get it together over there.
But what I was going to say is, a lot of this is just being intentional in your marriage. Because here's the classic quote, right? It takes a lifetime to build your reputation. It takes a moment to break it. And it's the same in your marriage. You could have a great marriage for 10 years and then do something stupid. And now you have lost a lot of your credibility. And now you got to repair that credibility. And a lot of people are there in their marriage. However, I think if you just stay on track with the intentional way of thinking and you just realize like, man, I have to be that person. Like the standard in my marriage is this, and I will hold that standard and I will hold that line because I know that it only takes a moment to break it. And I live with that, all the time. I'm like, dude, and that's not only for you, by the way, that's for the kids. That's for everybody in my life. Because as soon as I lose my witness, what do I have now? You know what I mean? Like I can't lose my witness.
Yeah.
And so it's not to say that there's not repair to be had. Like, again, we're not probably the repair gurus, to be honest with you, because we haven't gone through crazy, marriage turmoil and divorce and all this stuff. However, we are pretty intentional, and we really want to have a marriage where we don't even have to get there. And I think most people want that marriage too.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't ever want to have to get there. Well, then the way you think about your marriage has to change. You know what I mean?
Well, I think you have to hold your marriage to the esteem that it deserves, right? A temporary moment of like personal satisfaction is not worth the sacrifice of your marriage. It's just not. So like you have to keep the main thing.
Yes. You know what I've been doing lately? What? By the way, if anybody in the audience, you can use this. So I've been using ChatGPT to do Bible studies at night. And I kind of gave it a framework, and I told, it knows everything about me, business, wife, kid, this, that. And I've been using ChatGPT. And what ChatGPT has been getting in like really hard lately in these devotions is living in the flesh and living in the spirit. And making the difference between the two. And I think a lot of marriage and a lot of life just comes down to how do I stay in the spirit, like constantly? Because as soon as you move into the flesh, everything in your life goes bad. You get addictions, you start lying, you start misbehaving, you start, thinking you're better than you are. You start worshiping yourself and not like, and man, what ChatGPT and just going through these Bible studies, like as it's been getting so heavy in the spirit versus the flesh, I'm like, man, that's it. Like, how can I wake up every day in the spirit? And how can I make sure I stay in the spirit? And then it's like telling me like, hey, throughout the day, ask yourself that question. Like right now, am I operating in the flesh or am I operating in the spirit? And that day, like just bringing the consciousness to my mind has been I've just been liking it. I don't know. Good. So I think it's very helpful.
Yeah, very.
Anybody can use it.
Yeah. Okay, next one is working together can strengthen you or expose every weakness. Working together. So, I think it could be building a business together, but I think it's, in our circumstance, it's building a vision together, right?
Yeah.
And so I think one of the ways that we've been able to do that successfully is, we divide up roles, right? We're not both trying to do the same thing. And then we respect each other's role. So when it comes to the home or our children or homeschooling or whatever, that's kind of my domain and you let me run that. And then when it comes to investing or business or whatever, you own that. And like, we'll talk about things because I like to get your perspective on how should I do this with the kids, or you like to get my perspective on what investment should I make. But at the end of the day, I respect your decision making and you respect mine in our zones of genius.
In the zones of genius.
Yeah. And so I think that's a really important key to working together is divide up roles. Like this, people talk about marriage being 50-50. To me, that doesn't work.
Yeah, it's a bunch of nonsense.
I go 100% all in on my zone and you go 100% all in on yours.
I think it's super important. And I don't think most marriages do this. We didn't do this. Like I didn't know to do this, but had somebody told me, Rich, let me tell you one of the secrets of, having a better marriage and living a better life is reverse engineer what you want. You can't hit targets you don't know you have.
Yeah.
And in marriage, because there's so much going on with kids, chaos, sports, bills, this, that, you don't take time to really figure out what type of life are we trying to live in our marriage. And this guy that I met, his name is Craig Ballantyne. and he had something called the perfect day formula, right? And the whole concept of this was, if you woke up in the morning, what does your perfect day look like? And
can you tell the story about the fisherman?
I could give the concept.
Give me the concept, because it's so good.
Okay. By the way, you can see this in Jimmy John's. If anybody knows Jimmy John's, it's all over Jimmy John's. But okay, there's a fisherman, and he, I don't know where he lives. Let's just say he lives in this village. Yeah. And every day he would get up and he would go fishing. He loved to fish.
He'd get in his little boat.
Yeah, he'd get in his little boat, and he would go fishing, and he would be gone all day, and he would love it. And then at the end of the day, he would come back. And sometimes I think he would take like his grandsons, his kids on the boat, and they would go fishing, and he'd come back, he would cook the food, and he would spend time with his family, and they would cook, and he just loved it, right? It was just what he loved. And then along the way, a guy comes along. He says, "Man, you're a pretty good fisherman." He goes, "Yeah, I love doing it, XYZ. He says, "Well, you're so good. Why don't you, take out a loan, get another boat, and now instead of getting this many fish, you can double your amount of fish. And then after you double your amount of fish, why don't you bring, and then
you can buy a whole fleet of boats."
Yeah, then you can buy a whole fleet of boat with the profits. And then with the whole fleet of the profits, now you can have many fish, and now you're going to be making even more profits. And then, I forget what he says.
And then you can retire and do whatever you want.
Yeah, and then he's like, then you can just take all that money, and then you retire, and you could do whatever you want. And then the fisherman looks at him, he's like, "Well, if I do that, then
I'd retire and do this.
I'm going to retire and
get a little boat.
I'm going to get a little
fishing.
boat, and I'm going to go fishing, and I'm going to spend time with my kids, and I'm going to come back." And so, sometimes I think the point of that story is that sometimes you can spin your wheels doing nonsense, when really, if you just figure out what you wanted, like that fisherman just figured out what he wanted in life. And then he's like, "This is my perfect day."
Or you can let the world tell you what you're supposed to want. You're supposed to want to build this big business and make millions of dollars. And like, this is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. This is the American dream.
And it's like, well, yeah, but I really just want to get in my little boat and go fish.
By the way, the American dream is figuring out what your perfect day looks like, and
have the ability to do it
and do that. And, me and Hayley we were just talking about this over our anniversary. But we said, "Hey, what would you change in the day if you could change anything?" And I said, I wouldn't change anything. I love my days. And then you looked at me and said, "I don't think I would change anything either." And so, but let me tell you this, we reversed engineered that day. We didn't always have that day, but we said, what does that day look like? And we started trying to make it happen.
Yeah, we used to sit down and say, okay, where are we going to be in 5 years? Like, what are we going to do? And we would dream, and we would talk about it, and we would have all these discussions. And now we're just talking about it yesterday, like, hey, where are we going to be in 5 years? We're like, well, I hope we're still in our house, and, our kids will be this old, and, maybe we'll have a couple of horses, and we'll have some more investments, but like,
this is what we do. This is what we do. Like, this is the day. Like, this is the day we always want.
But we had to have those conversations 10 years ago about where we wanted to be in order to.
And that's the hardest part. By the way, that's the hardest part. A lot of people think the doing is the hardest part. No, the doing is actually the easy part, because once you know what you want, you do the stuff, and then that gets you. So I think that's what I want to say.
Yeah,
I'll probably have another oopsie here and there.
Probably. Okay. Next one is kids need to see love.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it.
And we have talked about this a zillion times.
Of love.
We are big, big fans of PDA. Our kids see lots of it, and we are not ashamed of it. Obviously,
I can't get Hayley off of me. It's a real problem in the house.
To an appropriate degree,
I wear bug spray just to try to.
Stop it. Oh, my gosh. But I think physical affection and seeing physical affection is really important. And I think it's very grounding and it gives kids a lot of security.
I think so.
It helps them know what to expect in their own marriages growing up, what is appropriate wanted touch versus not, and all of that important stuff.
The greatest gift we can give our kids is a healthy marriage.
Yep.
Agree or disagree?
100% agree. Oh, here's another one. This might have been the one you were looking at.
Oh, the boundaries.
Boundaries are protection, not oppression. So that goes along a lot with protect your marriage before you have to repair it. So I don't even know if there's too much we have to go into that. We've talked about what our boundaries are or what some of them are. But I think how you look at them is, they're guardrails. They're not cages. It's a guardrail to keep you from going off the mountain. It's not a cage to keep you in. It's protection.
Yeah. We even had somebody one time tell us she was like, I listened to your podcast on boundaries, and when you said,
you were nuts.
Yeah, she's like, when you said that the spouse can't have a friend of the opposite sex, I thought you guys were crazy. And then she's like, well, something kind of bad happened in my marriage because of it.
Yeah. Well, and then it was really sad, but her husband had an affair.
Yeah.
And she, with a friend, you know,
with
and
a friend.
And that same
like,
wife.
Oh, I get it.
Like, oh, I wish, she was literally I wish I had listened. But when I heard it, I thought you were crazy.
100%. Yeah.
And I would rather be crazy protective of my marriage than crazy negligent. Like I'm okay with that. I'm okay with maybe protecting it too much.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
Small habits matter more than big gestures.
Oh my gosh, I love that one.
Okay, then you talk about it.
Well, we can both talk about it.
Well, I know, but you start.
Small habits. Yeah, look, you know, it's so funny. A lot of people will ask the question like, what's the secret in business? Or what's the secret in marriage? Or what's the secret to like staying fit? And then, you know, there is no secret. The secret is the small things you do every day that does that. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like waking up and kissing your spouse, saying good morning, talking to them. Like it's these little daily actions that over the year make up a huge thing. Like, here's the thing. If I have a piece of cake today, will it really matter? Probably not.
No.
If I have a piece of cake this entire week, will it really matter? Probably not. If I have a piece of cake for the entire year, will it matter?
Yes.
Of course it will.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, what happened? You're like, well, it wasn't a big event. It was like, I had a piece of cake every day for a year. That's what happened. You know what I'm saying? And that's life. Like it's those little things that add up. So I love the small habits.
It's not the one-time decision.
It's not the one-time decisions.
Yeah.
Anything to add on that?
No, I think consistency, being consistently having gratitude for your spouse. I think being consistently affectionate, being consistently intentional. I just think that word is so important.
Yeah. By the way, I think some people get, again, these are the cognitive biases. I'll never forget Alex Hormozy. I love Alex Hormozy, but he used to run a gym, right? And he used to say, you know, he would give people meal plans because he would run these challenges. And so he started asking people because they weren't getting results. They're like, well, you know, I'm not getting the results that I wanted. So he'd be like, well, hey, are you following the meal plan? And everybody would be like, oh, of course I'm following the meal plan. Like, yeah, I'm doing it. And so he changed how he started asking the question. He'd be like, hey, out of the 21 meals that I gave you, how many of the 21 meals did you actually eat? They're like, oh, at least like half of them. And he's like, no. No,
it needs to be 21 of them.
It needs to be 21 meals. But like we trick ourselves like that all the time where they're like, oh, I'm doing the stuff. It's like, no. Did you do it every day? Well, no, at least half of them. If you do it just half the time, your results are going to be miserable. But we'll think that we're doing it because we do it sometimes. It's like, no, dude. You do it every day. That's the reality.
Yeah.
And I think some people trick themselves and like, wait, you do that every day? It's like, yeah, that's how you get results. You know what I'm saying? And so I think some people, you have to stop tricking yourself into thinking that, oh, I'm doing this stuff. Okay, every day? Well, most days. No, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Okay, the next one is shared vision changes everything.
Yes, we kind of hit on that too.
We did kind of hit on it, but I do want to hit on kind of a different angle, and that is not just having the vision, but having the leadership to articulate the vision and get people on board with the vision is maybe even more important, at least as a woman for a man to do, to actually tell your wife like, hey, I have this goal. I have this plan. I have this vision. I'm really excited about it. This is where we're going. Once you started doing that in our marriage, your leadership just like exploded for me.
Yeah.
And I think that was, so it wasn't just about the vision. It was about communicating the vision that really changed everything for me.
Yeah. I always wonder what came first, the chicken or the egg.
What do you mean?
You know, was it because of you that I had the vision, or was it the vision because which came first? You know? I struggle with that one.
I think it's a combination of both.
Combination of both.
I think you were doing so much like growth and learning and developing, but then I was really intentional about staying in step with you and like having these conversations with you.
Yeah.
And I think you were just getting so much more confident. So your leadership was, I don't know. I think it's a combination of all of the things.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, next one. Grace matters more than winning. And we've talked about this a million times, but do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Sometimes you really do have to make that choice. And, I've had these conversations with those people that are going to talk until you admit that they're right. And that's not an enjoyable conversation to have. You don't want to be that spouse that does that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just let it go.
You can win so much that you lose.
Or you can win so much that your marriage loses. It's like, okay, great, you won, but to what end?
Protecting your ego. Mm-hmm. I have to be right. I know those people.
Oh, yes. We know those people.
I have to get the last word in. I have to show them who's boss. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Do that. How did that work out for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So extending grace, super important in a marriage.
Yeah, grace. I mean, dude, you need a lot of grace in marriage. I mean, because how many stupid things have I done? And how many stupid things will I continue to do? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this is the last one.
What does it say? Love keeps no record of wrongs.
Yeah.
That's
1 Corinthians 13.
That's a tough one.
Okay, our last one, number 13 of what we've learned in 13 years of marriage is God has to be at the center.
That's a given. This is a Christian marriage podcast.
Christian people.
Yeah, at the center. I like that visual too. Now, here's another visual that maybe is even better than the center. I used to say the center all the time, but I think maybe the better way of saying it is God is at the foundation.
No. Well, I think, okay, yes.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing you used to say is that people used to envision it like a triangle, right? And God's at the top and then spouses are on either end. Mm-hmm. But if you envision it more like a circle with God in the center, like you orbit around that, like your decision making is based on that. Your everything you do reverts back to, okay, does this reflect Christ in me or not?
Yeah.
And then making decisions based off of that.
Yes. Yeah.
But like business decisions, ethical decisions, parenting decisions, financial decisions, all of them are a reflection of that.
Now, that's one way that I like that. I like that view. But lately what I've been thinking, I'm like, well, okay, if you're going to build the biggest skyscraper in the world, right? You would build it. The foundation is the most important part because everything is built on top of it. And so then I started thinking like, well, maybe it makes, just as a visual, it's like if God is this foundation in your life and then everything you're building is built upon that foundation. I don't know. I like that visual too.
Well, no. And one of the names that the Bible gives to Jesus is he's the cornerstone. It calls him the chief cornerstone. And what the cornerstone was in ancient building was it was literally the most important piece of the foundation. Like the entire building was built around this stone. And that's one of the names they gave for Jesus. So I think that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. Do you want to get into Christianese at all?
Sure. Talk about Christianese a little. Yeah.
Yeah. I think sometimes it can get Christianese easy,
Yeah. This has to be more in practice than in words or it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, 100%.
So define Christianese for people who maybe don't know what that means.
Well, I think it's where everything just gets a little over spiritualized. Everything's like, oh man, I'm gonna go out in the rain and play with my kids. It's like, oh well, brother, pray about that. It's like, or it just everything now is like, it's just it doesn't come off genuine.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's like so Christianese is it. It's kind of like a language that Christians use with other Christians.
Yeah,
almost to impress them with how much they know. But then other people who are not Christians hear it and they're really turned off by it. And they're almost confused and they're like, man, you don't even make any sense. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And you don't want to be a person who talks that way. It's not relatable.
Yeah. And sometimes, yeah. I probably could go,
but I think more important is that your life actually reflects what you're saying. I think you lose all credibility when you talk a really good game and oh, hey, Christ is at the center of our marriage. But when people know that that's not true,
oh yeah,
you lose all credibility. And so what does it look like for that to be true? I think it means speaking respectfully to your spouse, about your spouse. It means you're showing genuine affection. It means being forgiving. There's evidence and there's fruit of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And also too, I would try not to use God as this crutch in your life. When you need to be doing something, you need to do something in your marriage, you need to be taking action, you need to go pursue this thing. And then you're saying, well, I'm just waiting on the Lord, or I'm just waiting. something like some stuff like that frustrates me.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, no. You know what you need to be doing. And God has given you the signs and you know exactly what this marriage needs right now. Like, but you're using God as like this holding you back. Oh no, I can't do it yet because I'm waiting on this sign or I'm waiting on this thing. And I see that a lot and it frustrates me, especially when people just know like, dude, I need to take action, So I throw that into Christianese.
Yeah.
And I see it a lot.
I see it a lot.
So that was a good pod.
Yeah. Okay. I have a couple rapid fire questions for you.
For me or you?
For both of us.
Oh, come on.
Okay. First one. Who apologizes first?
You probably. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was our funniest argument?
Funniest? I still think the fun one, our funniest, our whole thing about God and predestination. That one gets kind of funny. That one gets kind of funny.
It's funny because
because you don't make sense.
You don't make sense. One day we need to have that argument on air just so we will know what we're talking about.
Yeah, that one's kind of funny. I mean, what are the arguments that are funny? Sometimes funny ones are like, how do we handle kid situations? Because, like one of our kids is just a big character and he thinks a little differently and he's just a little different. And so we have little things around that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah. We really don't argue much though. So that's kind of a hard one.
Yeah. We don't really argue. Yeah. We don't even use the word argue.
Yeah.
I don't, that is not even my vocabulary.
Yeah.
We don't argue.
Okay.
I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to fight you today.
Last one. What's the best marriage advice you've ever received?
Oh, we've said this so many times. Well, maybe not that many. Best marriage advice that I ever received is extreme ownership. And again, if you guys are listening to this, I highly recommend it. Men, women, whoever you are, if you want to have a better marriage. It sounds counterintuitive because it's not really a marriage book, but it's called Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. And Jocko was a ex-Navy SEAL, super BA type of dude, had fleets and, just led entire armies. And he had this concept of extreme ownership. Mm-hmm. And basically what it meant is that everything was his fault. And so he approached life with that freeing thought. I say freeing thought because as soon as you adopt any type of victim mentality in your life, like woe is me, the world's against me, the economy's against me, the government's against me, you lose all your power and you no longer are free to take action. Mm-hmm. And so I have found that in my life, when I just take responsibility for everything that goes right and wrong, it's just much more freeing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll give you a practical example. Hayley is not really digging me lately, right? Like I'm just giving you an example. If you are not digging me, right? And I feel like there's some tension, my first thought could be like, what's wrong with her? Why would she eat something? Like, is she on her period? Or I can just be like, dude, I'm doing something. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Right? It's just a different thing. And as soon as I say that, what am I doing? I can find solutions.
You could probably find something.
And it might not be me, but like I can help make the day a little bit better. Mm-hmm. I can do something a little bit better. And it just is a freeing thought.
Yeah.
Extreme Ownership, Jocko Willink.
Always a good one.
So yeah. But you have to give yours.
So mine would just be to always assume good intent from your spouse. Assume that they want good things for you. They want good things for your children. Even if their conclusion was different, even if their path was different, their intent was probably good. And if you can assume that, you can actually eliminate a lot of resentment and anger and maybe just have more curiosity of like, hey, I know you love our son. I know you really want him to be happy and successful. Like, why did you choose that path? And you might learn something, So I just think that's good marriage
advice.
Amen
to that, sister.
Yes. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up with the podcasty thing. Do you want to do our businessy things here at the end?
Of course. Yeah. So if you find value in the podcast, share the podcast. We would love if you guys share it. That's literally the only way this podcast grows. We don't run ads. We don't do anything like that. It's just word of mouth. And so we'd appreciate that. And then of course too, if you're looking to grow your marriage, have a better marriage, we have marriage resources down below with the links, whether you're on Spotify or YouTube or wherever else we have this podcast, but we have a lot of marriage resources for you. And what else? The 7-day free prayer marriage challenge. Yeah. We've had like 15,000 people go through this challenge. It's a great 7 days to recenter your marriage around God and everything else like that. Links down below.
Thanks, guys. Love you.
Love you, babes. Talk soon.